Hey.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you just fine.
Perfect.
Hey.
I'm like, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you just
Perfect. I feel like an echo.
I feel like a delay.
Yes, there's a delay.
I'm like, can you hear me? Yep, I hear you just
Perfect. I feel like an echo.
I feel like a delay.
Yes, there's a delay.
I'm like, can you hear me? Yep, I hear you just
I feel like an echo. All right, guys. Hello, Matt.
What's up?
Hello, the Matts. Hello,
Hi, everybody.
Matt
All
F.
right, we have the whole OTC
Hello.
club here, guys.
Looking good, guys. Beautiful.
What's up?
Hello, the Matts.
Black. I like it.
All right, we have the whole OTC club here, guys.
There you go. The
Do you guys hear a delay at all? I feel like we're having
do.
audio.
Yeah. I like it. There's definitely a delay. It's an echo. It's like.
Do you guys hear a delay at all? I feel like we're having audio.
Yeah.
There's definitely a delay. It's an echo. It's like.
Do you guys hear a delay at all? I feel like we're having audio.
I think I heard. You could hear it.
Are we in the Grand Canyon?
Hello.
I think I heard.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. You guys must forgive us. This is our first video interview thing.
Yes.
I think it's going well.
You guys must forgive us. This is our first video interview.
There's not two devices running, is there? Someone had two devices?
Is that better?
It's so funny because I hear Matt talking. I see his mouth moving, then I hear Christine's voice.
It comes in after.
It's so funny. I hear Matt talking. I see his mouth moving, then I hear Christine's voice.
At least hope everyone tuned in is you're gonna get this show twice. Once in 1 second and then once 10 seconds later.
Okay, so someone said if you're not talking, mute yourself. So maybe let's see if that works. Okay, Christine, you go first.
Myself?
No, you talk first and then I'll mute. Everybody mute. 1, 2, 3. Everybody mute. Go, Christine.
All right. Is there still a delay or is there an echo? Cool.
It's fine. All right, so
Okay,
that's
so
how we're
we're
going to
good.
play it out, you guys. Let's do it.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so mute, and then when we're not talking, I mean, vice versa, you're tracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like spaces.
Yes. All right. So now that the audio works, let me go ahead and do our intro. You guys, welcome to the OTC Club first live video interview. We're super duper excited and nervous. I want to introduce you. You guys already know, but you could put a face to it. And my co-host there, Doll. There's Matt Mindak. There's Matt Rives and Mr. Rue. And welcome to the OTC Club, guys. Our first live video interview.
Yay.
All right. I'm super excited for our special guests. Go ahead, Doll.
So joining us today is Mike Sherman, who is the CEO of Universal Media Group, UMGP, trading on the OTC Pink Market, and his longtime friend, partner, UFC Hall of Famer, Rashad Sugar Evans. Welcome, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to bring up, too, I forgot that this is presented by Traderverse, a new social media that streaming platform for traders. Learn more about them on traderverse.io. Go ahead, Doll.
So I'm interested to hear how you originally crossed paths and how you two initially connected. Where's the connection? Can they hear us? Can you hear us? Oh.
He can't hear us. We can't hear them.
You can hear me? You can hear me? Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Is it muted? No.
I don't know. Doll, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can't hear them. You guys, your mic's unmuted. Oh gosh.
Hey, Mike, can you try? I hear something. There you go.
I don't think anybody can hear me.
Hey, Mike, I can hear
We
you
can
now.
hear you now.
Oh, okay, cool.
I can hear Mike. So, Mike, I'm interested to hear how you originally crossed paths and how you two initially connected.
Let me try something else.
His headphones. Let's see if Rashad can get it fixed. Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
I can hear you a very little bit.
Can you hear me?
You know what I think it is? You can't hear, we can't do the I think we can't do the headphones.
All right.
Headphones.
Can you guys try this time? Rashad, can we hear you?
How about now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Good job.
Can you hear me? Great.
Yes,
So now
perfect.
that we got all the kinks out the way for you, hopefully Rashad can get his kinks out. I just wanted to know how you two originally crossed paths and how you initially connected.
Well, it's a good story. I've been doing documentaries for television for several years, and I was doing one on Mike Tyson. So me and Mike Tyson became really good friends. And about 4 or 5 years ago, actually, I met Rashad about 10 years ago, just through acquaintance here in Boca Raton. But about 4 or 5 years ago, we were both in LA with Mike Tyson. I was doing a show on Mike Tyson, and Rashad was there with some other former fighters and ex-champions. And we connected, and we became best friends ever since.
That is really cool. That's a beautiful story. I love
Yeah.
love the connection. Let's see if Rashad, do you have anything to add to that, Rashad? Let's see if we can get it. Oh, let's get back to Rashad in a second. Hopefully somebody can help him. No, we still can't hear you.
Mike, we can't hear you.
You
Or
can't hear
Mike,
me?
Mike, we can hear Mike. Can't hear Rashad.
Okay. Rashad, unmute your mic maybe. Mike, what did you do to unmute the mic? Maybe we have to have
I don't know. I kind of play with my headset, and it's kind of tough to hear, but I can hear you guys.
Okay.
I could definitely hear you guys.
Rashad, maybe your volume's off or your audio's on your
This
mic.
is interesting.
I know. The next time around when we do a video interview, it'll be we'll know.
Still, it makes it all the better. It makes it real. It's nice and fun. People love the real stuff. So this is what really happens.
Rashad, do you have headphones on?
Rashad.
Hey, what's happening?
Isn't connected. Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Rashad, check your settings. That's what somebody said.
All right,
I'm
hold
just
on.
gonna read
Here's his
it.
number. He's on?
No, give me his number.
Okay.
We could hear the phone call.
I just gave it to you. I just sent it to you. You got it.
All right, Mike. Well, while we wait for Rashad, right? Like, why don't you tell us more about, how you guys met again? I'm sure there's more like an elaborate, longer story on that.
So, I've been doing a lot of shows and different projects with a lot of entertainers and celebrities, but I was getting into the boxing arena over the last year and trying to deal with some former champions like Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns and Mike Tyson. And then I started to lean towards the UFC with Chuck Liddell, Vitor Belfort, and Rashad Evans. I try to find, some of these former champions. So Rashad was a pinnacle individual on helping me achieve some of these other great documentaries that we put together with these other champions. And he really assisted in reaching out to George St. Pierre, Chuck Liddell, Vitor Belfort, Kimura Usman, because he's a former Hall of Famer or is a Hall of Famer. And he was just so pinnacle. And he lives in my town, and we train together, and we do a lot of business together outside of the company. So it was just a good fit. And we just have both a common goal for each other to help each other, and our friendship just keeps growing from there.
Wow, that sounds really organic.
It's very organic. We've been on trips together, and we've done a lot of things together. It's kind of like a male bonding thing. So we have a lot of common goals, and it's hard to explain. But he's a great dude, and I couldn't be happier to have him on board with me and help me build this company and take it to the next level.
Well, we love him already through you. So.
Well, he's even better when you talk to him. He's the most charismatic, real, understanding individual I think you can ever possibly meet. He's just a special human being.
That's amazing. We're huge fans. We're huge fans of Rashad, so we're super excited. We hope we could get his audio back up and running so we could go ahead and talk to him. But I guess since he's not here and we're working on that, let's go to the next question, right? And then we'll just shoot it back to Rashad. Okay, so Mike, we watched many of your interviews with notable celebrities on your Before the Fame, with the series with Rashad being one of your highlighted guests. How do you engage all of these people for the show? Because you get, you're connected with the best, coolest people, including Rashad being one of the top guys. So tell us the secret.
Well, thank you very much. I'm from South Florida area where I kind of grew up here. So I got an opportunity to network with a lot of people in the entertainment business. It all started basically with Sugar Ray Leonard, his son Ray Leonard Jr. We've been friends for about 25 years, and he kind of opened up his Rolodex of resources to me about 25 years ago. So I got a chance to network and mingle with some high A-list celebrities, and athletes, and musicians, and things like that. So I just put a little pilot together of a show about 15 years ago when I was an investment banker at the time, and it just grew from there. Just building relationships, being trustworthy. Entertainment in Hollywood and South Florida is a very close-knit business, and people really have to trust you and believe in you in order to let you into their circles. So it was a lot of work, and a lot of being real and just letting people know who you're about, and working your tail off to try to get that individual and having them trust you. And once they trust you, they'll endorse you to other individuals, and then it just carries on from there.
Wow. And gaining trust with anyone, that's like the hardest part,
It is a hard part. And, when you're dealing with individuals that make a lot of money, that are high profile, that are on television, or high profile athletes, or big rappers or entertainers, they have a very small circle because they don't trust anybody. People are coming at them at all times. Right. And my whole objective was to try to promote them and endorse them and make them bigger than they are, and help them sell their products, sell records, come watch their movies, come to their games. I was more like a promoter to try to help them through via television, and now via streaming. So that's my goal, to try to make them bigger than they are and give them a longevity through entertainment.
Wow, and that's crazy, because that's similar to my story a little bit. I dealt with a little boxing. I dealt with a little, now I do finance and entertainment too. So that's very interesting to me. Maybe I can learn some stuff from you.
Oh, that'd be great. And vice versa.
Yeah, for sure. So we see Rashad's not here yet. Hopefully
we'll just keep going, and then we'll touch back with him after.
Yeah, hopefully we can.
He'll get on eventually. He'll figure it out. He's on his phone all the time, so he'll figure it out.
So with the Sugar and Sherm podcast,
right?
Can you give us a little insight on the podcast and what direction you guys are going?
No, definitely. So we have all these different verticals with Universal Media Group. We have our shows that we're getting distributors coming at us all the time, and we have other projects. But the Sugar and Sherm podcast, we're just everybody wants to be like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is the guy. But Mike Tyson's also a good friend of ours, and he has Hot Boxing. So we sat down with Mike a couple months ago, and he said, you guys are you guys are great friends. You guys know so many people between both of you. You guys should have a podcast. So we said, yeah, we should. And Mike was like, it can be whatever the way you want it to be. So Rashad has his own, he's a vegan. He's into holistic medicine. He's lives, very clean lifestyle. And, and myself, I have my own, my own background. So together we were going to put everything together and create some kind of podcast that'll focus to everyone and anything, whether it's a life-changing story, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's an athlete, whether it's a kid who's going through some adversity in his life. We want to really open it up and bring on some really cool people to the show and try to build it, and where we can have a huge following and really create something special so everybody can enjoy it.
It sounds like a very motivational podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be motivational. Rashad is very motivational. I wish he was on right now, but he breaks things down so you can really understand, like you're an 8-year-old kid. He breaks down certain life-changing, stories and so forth. So he would bring a total different aspect to podcasts. And myself, I'm pretty much, I'm Mike Sherman.
Yeah, okay, Mike Sherman.
So I would, I bring, I'll go out and get that high profile celebrity, that athlete, whoever I have to get, that rapper, and I'll make them talk and tell us things that you wouldn't have heard before on other podcasts. That's my
exclusives.
Can I be like you
I'll
when I
open them
grow
up,
up?
and it'll be really fun.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, come on! I want to be like you.
Mike, so were you guys on the Joe Rogan Experience, or was it Rashad?
Rashad was on the Joe Rogan Experience. Rashad probably does 3 or 4 podcasts a week, other people's podcasts. He's always being asked to be on podcasts. Joe Rogan and him are very good friends. They kind of started out maybe about the same time, a little bit. Rashad came in a little after Joe started with the UFC. So they have a history together. So yeah, Rashad was on with Joe, and he's there all the. He's been on several times. Him and Joe are really good friends.
That's super cool. We're huge fans of Joe Rogan too, so
yeah,
we'd love to hear about that. When he comes back. So I wanted to ask you: can we get an exclusive from you, like for your podcast? Do you guys have some? I know you guys probably have some huge names lined up. Can you guys drop?
Yeah, we've got some great names. We're gonna the first guy he's an actor. He was on New Girl for 7 or 8 years with Zoe Deschanel. His name is Lamorne Morris. Really funny guy.
I'm a fan. If you're here.
Oh, Winston is awesome. He's one of my closest friends, and he's gonna come on. His career has really came full circle. He's doing a second season of Woke on Hulu, and he's got some big movies coming out, so he'll be our first guy. And then we have George St. Pierre, which is he's a legend. That's one of Rashad's closest friends. And we also have Mickey Rourke, who's a historian in himself. Great actor, Academy Award nominated actor.
Wow.
We know Mickey.
And Flo Rida, who's a rapper.
We know Flo Rida.
Yeah, Flo is a good guy, and he's a good friend of mine. So those would be our first 4, and we've got other people coming after that: Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, all kinds of other guys. But those are the 4.
Can we borrow some of your guests,
especially Winston?
Winston he's the best. He's on a podcast all the time. He's got his own podcast actually right now with Zoe Deschanel. They're on iHeartRadio.
My favorite too.
Oh, do they?
Every week.
I love them.
So you guys can tune into his podcast.
They just got to plug. So Winston, if you're watching, you got to plug on our show. So now you have to come on our show.
Mike Sherman said you have to come on our show.
Oh, I'll definitely get Winston on. He's the best.
I love him.
Awesome.
So in June 2021, UMGP traded around about 15 cents and reached about a 52-week high of over $3.50.
Yeah, we had a good run for a little bit. We have a really tight float, which is real small. So we're looking to, and we have very little debt. So what we did was we bought a lot of debt back from some of our debt holders, and we're trying to have zero debt whatsoever, which we're pretty much there right now. We're looking to do a 5-to-1 forward split, so we can create more shares in the float, so more people can be aware of what we're doing and and get involved in the company. So we've had some good news come out, and we're looking to constantly put more eyeballs on the stock. We've got some great projects. We're building an app right now, which I'm not going to compare to TikTok, but it's something along those lines for kids where they're all over the world that have talent that can upload different content, whether it's singing or music or writing novels or dancing. It's a platform where kids that are in these remote areas of the world that don't have any type of exposure. So it's called High School Icon, and it's a really cool concept. And we actually shot the pilot with Pitbull or at his school in Miami. So we're building this app right now. We've got some interest from some distributors and some networks and so forth. So we're in the process to increase our shareholder value and to possibly go to the next level and maybe be by NASDAQ by this time next year.
Wow. Okay, so no dilution, canceled notes, uplisting, and forward split were
Correct.
sold. So I really want to hear about High School Icon. So it's very comparable, right?
Well, you know, I mean, TikTok has a $425 billion valuation now. It's like, you know, it's the hottest thing right now on social media. Every kid in the world is using it. And it's primarily used for Generation Z and millennials. So with that said, I see a huge increase or a huge demand for talent out there. Kids want, you know, kids aren't the way they used to be. They want to be involved in entertainment at some capacity. You know, Instagram has made overnight successes with some of these social influencers. So we're looking to take some of the kids that really have talent, you know, not just, you know, jumping on their head or jumping off a building. Kids that can sing, that can dance, that can act, that can write, that can do art, that can throw a football. Kids that are really talented, where they just upload the content on their phone right to our app and send it to a board of different individuals, Grammy award-winning producers, actors,
All right, cool.
athletes, and so forth. I hear Rashad.
Rashad!
What's up,
Rashad,
turn
hey.
up? Huh?
We can hear you
Rashad,
now.
we've been waiting for you. Thank God you're here.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing? Hold on one second. I don't know what happened.
This is the best.
Yeah, raw and uncut right here, the OTC Club at its finest.
All right. I think I'm in
So
here right now.
Rashad, we've been talking about a lot of things, but primarily the podcast, Sugar and Sherm. Tell us a little bit about how you and I met and why we decided to
Yes,
put together
please.
a podcast and make this thing a reality.
Thank you. Yes, yeah. Go ahead and tell us about the podcast a little bit. Mike, you done took over the show.
No.
I mean, that's Mike for you. That's the Sherm
Yeah.
right there, man. The Sherm is
He got the juice. He
yeah.
got the
So where am I going to start again? What was the question?
basically just give us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your podcast. Are you excited for it?
Oh, I'm super excited for it, man. It's something that I waited a long time to really do. You know, I wanted something that was felt like it was coming from the heart, you know, and it was something that, you know, was new to the space and, you know, kind of speaks from where I'm at right now in my life. So doing a podcast and doing it with Michael Sherman was, you know, very exciting for me because I mean, Mike can go on talking forever. He never lost for words. So
For sure.
And we were doing fine. We're like,
For
okay,
sure.
Rashad will just step in. And Mike was walking us through your guys' friendship, how you guys met.
Yeah,
Everything.
so now Rashad, you have to give us some nice things about Mike because he gave you a shining review. So give us some nice say some nice words.
Oh, Mike is awesome, man. Like you know, Sherm is the man. Like he's full of adventure. No matter where we go, it's always going to be a good time. We went on a few funny trips last year. Went to went to go see Tyson. Went to go see a
Jacksonville
WWE event. But you just never know where it's going to end up. You start off one way, and the next thing you know, with Mike, it ends up somewhere else. But it's always a good time hanging out with Mike. You know, he's funny. He's smart. He knows a little bit about everything. And you know, he's a hard guy to stump. You know, he's like one of those guys that knows the most random things in the world, but he knows it, you know.
Rashad, I want to touch back on before we lost you for a second, but you were on the Joe Rogan podcast, right? A few times.
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell us about that and how that was, and you know, it inspired you guys to do your Sugar and Sherm and everything? Like, elaborate more on that.
Yeah, the Joe Rogan podcast probably did like a year and a half ago. I can't really exactly remember, but it was an amazing opportunity. I thought in my mind I have all these things to say once I got on Joe Rogan's show, but once you get on Joe's show, time just goes so fast, and some of the things you think you're going to say, you just didn't really bring up. But we had a really good organic conversation. The conversation was based around my transformation, where I was at versus where I was at when I was fighting. And during that time, I just kind of like was explaining, like where my mindset was from the last time that most people see me to where I was at the current state. But it's been nothing but development. Once I stopped fighting, I started to do a little bit more introspective work and just kind of seeing like, what was it all about? What do I really want to do? And, what's next for me? Because as a fighter, I've always, had two or three fights a year, and that pretty much marked my time. But without having a fight coming up, I just kind of felt like I was just floating in space and didn't really have that challenge that I was used to having when it came to
Yeah.
fighting. So
Mhm.
it took me a while to kind of find the groove, and I'll be honest, it was painful because you know um, I was Sugar Rashad Evans, the MMA guy,
Yeah.
the UFC
Right.
fighter, and
Right.
losing that identity and really stepping into who I am was a
Scary.
process.
Wow, you know what, Rashad? Like I said, I come from a family of boxers, and I'm very familiar with the whole boxer atmosphere and what happens after boxing. And just to see, what people go through, and just the gap that has to be filled, and how hard it is to transition. Can you just, elaborate on that a little bit for people
Yeah,
out?
it was a very hard transition, to be honest, because you know, as an athlete, you get so addicted to just the challenge of it, just facing yourself, because you go through a roller coaster of emotions when you have to fight. You're really excited at one point you're kind of just like, why the hell am I doing this? You know what I'm saying? I need to find something else better to do. But you go through those different extremes, and you never know which one is going to come out. So you just got to just learn to just ride a roller coaster, but just have that deep seated faith in your training and trust the fact that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. And going through those challenges, it kind of helps you grow as a person. So um, I used to like to go through fights just because of the whole process of it all. Win, lose, or draw, I felt like I grew from that experience. So not having that there, not having the feeling of the fans screaming your name when you just went out there and you won, and just that whole thing that that the fans bring is so addicting. It's the most powerful drug in the world, and when you have to give that up cold turkey, man, it sucks, man. You go through some crazy withdrawals, and you
Wow.
feel as if like
Yeah.
your world is kind of falling apart at times. But then once you start to really peel back the layers and really see what's at the essence of that feeling, then you start to really discover, you know, why you even fought in the first place, and how you can now put the energy to something else. But for a while, I was just spinning my tires, just trying to find that proverbial black box to see, you know, um, you know, where everything, what happened.
Wow.
Wow. That was
That was
deep,
so deep.
Rashad.
I was about to cry. I'm not gonna lie.
I
So
know.
you're really deep, man.
That's crazy. It's
Oh, he's
almost like
deep.
you get addicted to the adrenaline and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's quiet. And then where do you find that same like rush, right? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Hanging out with the
it's funny.
Sherm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hanging out with the Sherm is a good way to feel it. But I still do a little bit of TV with the UFC and with
Right.
CBS and doing other things like that. So
Mhm.
TV brings a little bit of that rush, and but it's not the same as having
It's not the
you
same.
know the odds, because what makes fighting so such an adrenaline rush is because that something bad can happen, and that fear of something bad can happen, it keeps you awake at night. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you like, you keeps you so present in that moment. And I think that's the biggest thing that I miss in fighting, is the fact that when you fight and you have that adrenaline going through you becomes so present where someone throws a punch and it's like going in slow motion. And when you throw a punch, it's like go slow motion too. There's times where I'm in there fighting and I threw a punch and I'm like, man, I feel so slow. But then when I watch it on TV after the fight's over, I'm moving really fast. And I'm like, wow, when I was in there, man, it seemed like everything was like moving so
It's like
slow.
a dream.
I can connect. I can connect with that. And then sometimes you hit somebody, and then you feel like it's not a hard enough hit. And we can go into this all day, Rashad. Yeah, I hit a lot of people in my life, but
Oh my God. Mike's like,
I used to be in the gym sparring too, but yeah. So I wanted to get into high school icon.
We ended up circling to the high school icon
high
app,
school
right?
icon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely want to touch on that too.
Yeah, I love the concept. That's something that we would totally tune into. Can you give us a little bit more about high school icon?
Absolutely. So this is an app where it's going to take a lot of development. We're going to have to raise a lot of capital. We're currently in development right now with some really good developers. One of the guys was one of the associates with the original Facebook app. We want to be compatible with all the platforms, from the iOS platforms for the iPhone and Samsung and all the other different cell providers. It's a place where kids can go to show their talent, that have real talent, and that can interact with other kids from all over the world. Most of the kids on the radio today primarily are in their teens. Everybody from Ariana Grande, to Chris Brown, to Rihanna, they all started when they were in their teens. Britney and One Direction, all that kind of stuff. So we want to build something where these kids can actually be noticed. Now, American Idol is a great platform. The Voice is a great platform. However, there's people in remote parts of the country that can't get to Chicago or Miami or LA or New York to try out. So this is simple. It's easy. They use their phone. They upload it. We've got a panel of judges going through submissions, and then we fly these kids to Los Angeles to compete on a national level. Now, that's the show, but we just put together a pilot that we're pitching to some networks that we've already got some interest from some pretty big distributors. However, we're creating the app on our own side where we can build our own incubator of talented kids from the ages of 12 to 18, 19, where they can give us a profile of who they like, what they want to be, and show us their stuff. So it's an exciting app. It's a big project, but we're excited about it. And we think over the next couple of years that our company can have a valuation, in the hundreds of millions if we do it right.
I would have, at that age, I would have definitely just been on that, like High School Musical, the app.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know, it's crazy. We have it all registered. We've got the .com. You can go to our website and look at highschoolicon.com. We've got the show registered with the Writers Guild. We've got it trademarked. Now it's a matter of time, implementation, and execution. And we should have it ready, I'm going to think, by the second quarter of 2022.
That sounds wonderful.
And then there was a PR release, right? It was like a mention of a film. Like, tell us.
Oh yeah. So since I am kind of close with Lamorne Morris, and we're going to have him on as our podcast, he's doing his first movie where he's directing and acting in it. So it's his first movie as a director, where he's been an actor in a million movies. So him and, oh man, what's his name? He played in Coming to America, Eddie Murphy's son. I think it's Jamal. He's a comedian.
Jamal Murphy.
I forgot his last name. My bad.
But no, it's okay. It's okay, because if you know it, please post it. I don't know. Please post it. Tag us.
Yeah, no, we'll post it. I'll get his name right now. But him and Lamorne are going to be in this really funny crime drama about two kids that are ex-cons that win the lottery. So it's going to be filmed in New Jersey. The filming starts in March, and Universal Media Group will be executive producer on the project.
Jermaine Fowler.
So Jermaine Fowler, right?
Yes, that's who it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Jermaine Fowler.
That'd be cool. That sounds really cool. In Jersey, that's right across the pond from where I'm from. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's right there.
Well, that's exciting. Rashad, can you tell us about your post-fighting broadcast experience and why you're excited about working with Mike on UMGP?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my post-fighting, analyst work or broadcasting career, it's become my fighting. It's become that thing
Rashad.
that motivates me. Yes.
I hear
You
him.
may have lost him.
Can you hear
I
me?
hear
Oh,
him.
you hear him?
I hear him just fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things that motivates me now. It's one of those things that I find a lot of pleasure and fun in. The thing with fighting that made it so fun for me was the fact that I liked it a lot. And they say if you do something you love, then you never have to work a day in your life. And
Right.
I find that with broadcasting, it brings the same kind of challenge because it's tough. You got to make sure you do your research. You got to make sure that you know what you're talking about, so you can go and speak with conviction and confidence. So it brings us challenges, but I'm excited for this chapter in my life because once I got out of fighting, I knew I had the base in broadcasting, but I didn't know if it's something that I wanted to continue to do because I didn't know if I just wanted to just fade off and just be like a normal person and whatnot, and not get bothered in the entertainment industry anymore. But I feel like in this space and in this entertainment industry, I feel like there's I have a voice in it, and I feel like I bring something different to the table, and I want to be able to uh, help people along any way I can, and just kind of be able to impart some knowledge that I've learned along the way. Young up and coming fighters or just people in general who just need to be inspired. So I'm excited about it, and I feel like in today's times, especially, inspiration is something that we all need, and it comes from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with a good show, with a good, from a good platform, based in the right place, I feel like it could do something. It can really inspire people to be better people. And at the end of the day, that's everything to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You speak so well. In the words of
Thank
my
you.
in the words of my grandmother, you speak so well. You're so well spoken. So
Thank you. I appreciate
yeah.
that. I do.
Um, so I want, do we have any questions from the panel?
Yeah, I mean, we could go to the panel, you guys. We have Rue
Hey, we have
here,
Mr. Rue. I like that
Hey,
outfit.
and
We have
here's
Matt,
Matt
West Coast
Graves.
Closer,
like
and
my
we
little
have
turtleneck.
Matt Middeck. Hey,
Look at
everybody was
Mike,
looking
Drew.
forward to you guys.
Thanks for coming
All
on,
right.
Rashad and Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no problem.
you guys are really sound dudes, man. Really genuine, and to have a career like you both have had, and just to be so sound and take the time and just, man, two really sound dudes.
So,
Thank
okay,
you.
Matt. Yeah, Matt.
So you want to go
You
first?
want to go ahead
Yeah,
and
so
ask?
yeah, Rashad, I have a couple questions for you. So,
Mhm.
first and foremost, UFC is such a high intensity combative sport. It's man versus man, one on one, fighting in an enclosed cage. Like that's an intense environment. Can you walk me through like the mental preparation that you exercise before each contest? Simply because we're all traders here and we're not
Yeah.
fighting, but trading is a really mind ruling process. I mean, I can't relate to the fighting experience, but I'm sure there has to be some kind of similarities with mental. So I'd love to hear that prep that you went through for each contest.
Yeah. The real work in fighting usually starts on fight week. I mean, you train for about 8 to 10 weeks, but the true work is that week before the fight. It goes from being 90% physical to 10% mental, to then being 90% mental to 10% physical on fight week. So you got to really make sure you're on top of that mentality, and pulling those weeds out of the mental garden. Um, and it's a process. Every single day it gets closer to the fight. You have to take yourself somewhere different each and every single time, because as the fight gets closer, the person that you see before you, the person that's friendly with the fans and stuff like that, that person can't get into the octagon and fight. You almost got to have like an alter ego, something that you can hit a switch and become that person. Because when you're in the cage, you got to be an animal out there, because the opponent that you're fighting, he's trying to separate you from consciousness in the worst kind of way.
Right.
So the stakes are pretty high, and that. So that you can't be a nice guy in there. You got to bring some kind of meanness. So what I would do is I'll start my process off with a lot of visualization, and just really putting myself where I want to be Saturday night. Thinking about every single outcome, thinking about more or less perfecting my technique. Sometimes if you go down the road of thinking about what's going to happen, then it can really hold you back from really, going out there and fighting the way that you want to fight. But if you think about just executing, think about just the X's and O's, just executing, I'm going to throw this perfect punch. Then it allows your mind to go somewhere else, because no matter who you're fighting, it doesn't even matter. It's always about you. The person across the cage, it means absolutely nothing. It's all about what you're going to do and how you're going to impose your will on them. But that has to start right here. And a lot of times when I would get, a little too into my mind, I would just stare in the middle and just be like, I don't give a fuck, and I would just start saying that over and over again. I'll just start saying, I don't care, I don't care. I'm not afraid. And I'll just, start yelling at myself sometimes if I still felt it, because what I would do is I would just say, I don't care, because what happens is you get to the point where you start to be afraid of what's going to happen if you don't win. Then all these if you don't win start to, if I don't win, I'm not going to get this. If I don't win, then people are going to say this. If you don't say, what, I don't care, then you're going to have that hanging in your mind. So I just deplete myself from any cares, and I just start standing in the mirror, just like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. So I work myself in a ladder to I really, really believe it. Right. And then at that point, I'm ready. I'm ready to go out there and just, whatever happens, happens. But it's me coming at peace with the fact that I got to make peace the worst outcome. And I got to be okay with it. Because winning and losing is based on the guy who's willing to lose to get that win. The guy who's just only trying to win, he's not going to take those risks. You got to be able to take the risks in order to get that win.
Absolutely, that's extremely powerful. I've been following UFC all along, and I would say that, in my opinion, you have to be one of the best Ultimate Fighters there's ever been. And after speaking to you, I like I said, I've been following. You've said in interviews in the past, this is years ago, that you were a shy guy, quote unquote. I'm not really seeing that right now. I'm not getting that vibe at all from you.
Because he's hanging out with the Sherm.
How did you break free of that? When did you not become a shy guy? Because when you knocked out Chuck Liddell, or we could go on and on, but you were not shy in those fights, my man. So, being at such a high and elite level, when did you get rid of that? When did you smash that? That I don't care, if you will.
It was, I guess, once I started to really, believe and see in myself, I think when I was more or less shy, I had a lot of insecurities, and I kind of felt as if like people can see them too, and that kind of made me just, kind of unsure of myself in a way. But once I started to really understand myself and start to, believe in myself, then the shyness went away, because, I wasn't afraid for people to look at me. I wasn't afraid of being vulnerable. It was the vulnerability that I feel made me kind of a little bit reserved, because I didn't, maybe afraid of, not being accepted or whatnot. But once I let go of that vulnerability, it was like, all right, whatever, if they don't, they accept me, they don't. If they don't, if they do, they do. Because when I first started fighting, I wasn't a fan favorite at all. They used to boo me like crazy. They used to hate me. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get so upset and take it so personal, it'll make me want to cry, man. And then, I had to realize that these people, they don't hate me. They hate the character. They hate this character that they think I am. If these people don't really know me in life. And once I started to understand that, and once I really started to take the personal feeling out of it, then I was able to accept that boos and whatever they had to do. Then I started to like it. But then once I started to like it and enjoy it, then they start cheering for me.
Yeah. Well, you definitely owned it, man. And those are my questions. But I really appreciate, both of your guys' time. Like I said, sound dudes, man. But you're one bad mamma jamma, man. Man,
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Did you just say mamma jamma?
You said mamma jamma. You said it.
Come on, bro. You've seen some of those knockouts. It's not right, man.
Oh, believe me. I watched all the UFC.
Fighter. Say mamma jamma. You would never live that down, man. You would never live it down. All right, Mr. Rue, you got some questions
I'm next.
for our guy?
Yes, I do. I do. I can go all day with which I have so much questions for you, but um, it's really nice to meet you, my man. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, to talk to you guys. It's really awesome. Just to hear your story. Um, for me, like what's like really inspiring with you is your mentality. And it's funny because we're heavy in the market, and we preach market mentality a lot. And it's so funny that UFC can correlate with market mentality. Just having that strength in that mindset. And I read an article about one of your quotes, if you don't mind me reading it out. Um, that you said, "My mother is my hero," just because what life becomes about is overcoming adversity. And I watched her overcome so many things in life, but still able to smile. See, it's one thing to overcome adversity and to be scared and to carry that with you. But when you have somebody overcomes adversity and they are still able to smile, that's something else. That's true strength. And that like really hit me because the same thing for me. My mom is the same way. She's my like knight in shining armor. Me get the things because of how she handles things, being Caribbean, coming where we come from. Um, and it's really cool that you were able to adapt with everything that you had to deal with, getting to the stature that you are right now. And just like how you were saying, with like being in the UFC, like that's not your personality, but you have to adapt and create a different mindset so you can have the success that you had, right? And not many people can do that. And I would like to know, like, how difficult was it for you to adapt and embody this mentality? And what steps did you take to get there?
It took a while. I'm not gonna lie and make it seem like it was just something that happened. It was a lot of just soul searching for the most part, but just really, being a good student of life, and really just paying attention to some of the things that happens in my life, some of the setbacks and things like that, and being able to face the disappointment and face the setbacks of things I didn't want allow me to, learn from those lessons. A lot of times when people, have these setbacks in life, it's a very uncomfortable thing. So they want to move past it real fast. But if you move past it too fast, you don't see the true value in that setback. And believe it or not, there's a lot of value in setbacks, and it's where, you can find the seed that you can plant and then grow from there. But a lot of times it takes some painful work and some painful, facing yourself. So it's always been for me, me learning through those setbacks, and really, keeping that perspective of just, what, this is what it is, and no matter what happens, I'm gonna keep on going forward. But I would always, think about my mother, because no matter how bad it was, no matter if we, didn't have heat in the wintertime or whatever the case may be, she never let me see her sweat. Just never stopped smiling. She always was just, you know um, giving love and making sure that we were good. But uh, it's those things, once you become an adult, you just see what she gave to give us what she did, and it's like, wow, it wasn't an easy thing. So um, in my professional career, I pulled a lot from her, and then not to mention, when I got in my professional career, my mom was like my coach, man. My mom would be hitting me up before the fight. She'd be like, Rashad, now listen, you gotta fight this dude, Rashad. Now listen, Rashad, he's saying he's gonna take you down, Rashad. He's saying he's gonna hold you. Rashad, when you hit him, keep him hit, Rashad. But that's I mean, that's what my mom would say. She
I
became my
love her.
custom
Yeah,
model.
I love her.
That's that's awesome, man. And you know what's so funny? You're the only person that could probably say that you're a lover and a fighter because you do so much for the community, and it's so great. I've read so much things about how much you've impact the communities, fighting for equal rights and all these different things. And I mean, it's just great to see because not many celebrities put the time, especially with the success that they have. They don't have either time for it or they just
Yeah.
don't care. But you always make that a priority for you, and it's just greatly appreciated.
Thank
Uh,
you, man. I appreciate that.
sure. I don't know if I can ask another one, but if you want, because I'll go all there with
You
them.
beast in these questions. I love it.
I'm glad you recognize that, Rue, because that is a huge. I agree with you. That's a massive factor that he's always been about. All from the jump, he's always given back.
Yep.
So how about we go to Matt? Hey, what's
Yeah.
up, Matt? Riv, you got a
What's up?
question?
Yeah, of course, of course. Nice job, Rue. What's up, guys? Mike Sherman, Rashad Evans. Thank you very much, guys.
What's
And
up?
just, I got a question for Rashad, but also Mike. You spoke about it before, and just wanted to give you credit on this. Is I can tell with your charismatic personality, the networking,
Mm-hmm.
how you're building that company, how you're trusted by celebrities, by big icon, by big people in on the screen or on the television or on the radio. It's definitely I see all the group of here personality. So, Mike, look forward to reading more about the company and then your goals. So I'll definitely be diving into that a bit more.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Rashad. You actually nailed it even earlier without even me asking. I don't know if you already set it up, but my question was regarding the transition, like you said, after leaving the ring. And it's a personal question for me because I was in a near-death motorcycle accident in 2013 while playing really competitive rugby, while being a physical specimen, all that stuff. That was my shtick, right? The top athlete, the guy. Whether it be football, basketball. And then I lost that. I was off work. I was in the hospital for months. I was off work for a few years. I was a vertebrae away from paralyzed for life. So, all these surgeries where now I can't, can't golf anymore. I can't play rec, sports. I can't even do those kind of things were taken. And that was my passion, right? So physically, you look on the surface like, oh, you look fine. You look good. There's times I can't lift a skillet without using one hand. But mentally is what you spoke about. That was the hard part. It's like, hey, you don't have that anymore. Where do you fill your time? Not just with money. With it's just when you can't go to the gym and lift what you did before, or you can't go out for a run because you got 2 knee surgeries. That was where I looked to that question to ask you is you had the ability, but you knew that you stepped away on your own terms, but also it's still the same. It's the same mindset that you had to figure out. So, yeah, if you could speak and elaborate a bit more on that, and market has figured that out for me. It's been 8 years, and I found the market. And you spoke about giving back, and the panel will say it. I'm a big selfless guy. Like I will answer everyone. I will help everyone. I have my podcast on Wednesdays. I will start a youth pay it forward foundation that I believe in, that I'll start back home in Ontario. And that's coming up, and that's for youth 7 to 13 years old from low income families. I'm going to help to support them because I believe it's critical in the development of our youth to be involved with any sort of extracurricular activities after school. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And yeah, you're speaking to the truth, speaking right to me. So thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's great. That's great that you're doing that. I got something that I do with kids too. It's called Always Progress, and we help out, kids as well. Just have different experiences, mostly like kids in the upper age range, that transitional age between being a young high school graduate to being a young adult. That's a very tricky transition. A lot of times it's when the parents, release the control. I guess give the kids a little bit more autonomy, and sometimes they're not very good with that autonomy because they never had it before, so they make some poor decisions. So we just try to equip the kids with different experiences, so they'll be able to make better choices. But it's all about the kids. The kids are our future, literally speaking, and we really need to honor that and make sure that we take care of these kids as much as we can, because it's not about this is my kid, that's your kid. All these kids are our kids. You know what I'm saying? They belong to all of us, because these are the people of the future, and we have to look at it like that, because if we don't, we have the tendency to take care of some and then let others fall by the wayside. But it's the ones that fall by the wayside that ends up being that terrible spot in society that you wish you didn't have. So it's important. And to your point, what you're talking about, when you're trying to find yourself at the rugby, one thing I did that helped me kind of start to figure out what I want to do is, like, I will start to write things down. Like, I'll start writing again, start writing, like, what was going on in my mindset as far as like what I wanted to do, what motivated me. And then after a while, after I started writing, you know, what I wanted to do and what was driving me, what was my passion. And, I started to kind of figure it out and work through it. But it's all a matter of working through it. Believe it or not, what you should be doing and where your heart really lies. It's just a matter of just uncovering all the things that clouds that judgment.
Thank you, Rashad.
No doubt.
I really
Thank
appreciate
you
that.
so much, Rashad. Thank you. So we got a question for you, Mike. What was your favorite before the fame interview that you have done? What was your
Well, one
It
that
was
comes to
Rashad.
mind is yeah. I mean, Rashad's awesome, but one that comes to mind is DJ Khaled, because DJ
DJ
Khaled is
Khaled.
another incredible individual that just he's like one in a million. I saw him come from basically nothing to being a total icon, and I got a chance to talk to him about that. What is it? How does it feel to come from the streets of pirate radio to be a judge on these big shows, to be a huge producer for all these big hits, and to do commercials for Weight Watchers and TV movies and all that kind of stuff. And he just says he's just been blessed. He gives it all to the man upstairs, and he never lost sight of his focus. And it was pretty inspirational, and it was a great interview.
Wow, that's amazing. And before we
Yeah.
go to, let's take some crowd questions, right? Because I see like people writing here, but we want to thank you guys so much again for joining us. And this is Universal Media Group, ticker symbol UMGP. And we're excited to track your guys' progress in the next, several months. So
Thank you.
let's
Love to
go
hear it.
ahead.
We're excited as well. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're super excited. Let's see. Let me scroll through these. Someone said we would love to hear about season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter with Rampage.
Oh man, that season was an amazing season for so many reasons. We had an all-star cast, and we had special guests and Kimbo Slice that no one knew was going to be there until he actually walked out onto the mat when we were selecting teams. So it was a very interesting process. But the beef between me and Rampage was something that that was really made for TV, and it was something that almost didn't really make it on TV because we were so angry with each other. We had so much beef. It was like beef on site. Whenever we were in the same room, it was bad. Like it was so bad. They had to like sit us down and be like, "All right, guys, look, we know you don't like each other, but if we keep on, having these fights and these blowups where you guys got to be separated, we're not going to be able to get this filming done." And there was a lot of high intensity, hot moments, where we press each other, got in each other's face. And, I thought in my mind at the time, like, yeah, I'm just going to punch him in his face next time I see him. And I got talked out of it, of course, but the beef was thick. It was so bad in this beef where like,
it was real.
It was real. Like we'll see each other in life. Like I'll see, like we'll be in Vegas. We're in Vegas together. So I will go out to the club and he'll hear I was at the club. So one time he got into my face at the club and he's trying to start a fight in the club, and then he got me kicked out of the club. So it was that kind of beef, man. Like if we see each other out in the street, it was.
How is it now?
Situation.
That sounds like my
They're
type
best
of party.
friends.
Yeah, how's it now? Well, I mean, it's pretty cool now. Actually, it was everything was cool, kinda when we stopped when the fight was over, but we still had that kind of residual beef. Just didn't like him too much. But the beef got squashed when him and I did a movie together a couple years ago. We did a movie together called Boss Level, and we played German twins. And it was it was pretty exciting because the director hits me up and he's like Rashad, I got a movie part for you. He said, okay. He says, but you're playing Rampage's brother. And
You're
I'm
like, wow.
Okay,
Like,
I'm like,
what kind of brotherly love is this?
I got to know him pretty good then, and we got together. We got along really well. it was cool because we kind of got to share the stories about, you know, what each of us seen in that fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it was pretty cool to kind of get to know him better on that level. But that season was, you know, the best season ever, I think.
Yeah, see, it turned out to be a okay story and like a beautiful story. Actually, you guys are cool now, and you guys did
Yeah,
a
we real cool.
And listen, and next time you got some beef, you could call me.
I got you.
That definitely was the most by far.
All right, what else do we have here? Can you talk about your buddy John Jones? Do you think he will ever fight again?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know if he'll fight again. I hope he does fight again. I think that John Jones is the greatest fighter to ever put on 4-ounce gloves. You know, he's a lot of people say he's not, just based on his past and, you know, getting caught with you know, drugs and everything like that, and what happened in his past life. I mean, out of the cage stuff. But when it comes to his ability to handle all that and then get into the cage and fight at the level that he does, it's amazing, because I know how hard it is to fight when you have to bring in baggage from the outside. You know, it's tough. So the fact that he's able to do all that and then still come in there and fight and is amazing, I think is great. It's just this, man. You know, when you're able to get away with so much and there's really not consequences to be paid, it gives you an unrealistic idea of life, you know. And right now he's in a position where a lot of things that he does wrong, it's overlooked because he still, you know, has such a high value. But life is going to switch, and the transition is going to switch in life, and then people are going to change how they treat him because the value in him and value being associated with him is not so high. And I just hope and I pray that he's still not making those same bad choices, because if he's still making the same bad choices, then, you know, he's gonna hit a place in his life that won't be good, you know. And I hate that for him. Even though we had our beef back in the day, I don't want to see him lose like that, you know.
Wow. Well, we hope that, you know, that he gets the help that he needs and he's back into, you know, fighting, and we see him again soon. Let me see. Someone asked what the ticker was again. Mike, do you want to give that to them again?
UMGP.
Yes. How much is it trading at currently? Do you know?
It's around $1.75 a share.
Wow. All right.
But we're doing a forward split, so 5-to-1. So within the next 30 to 45 days, you'll have, you know, 5 times the amount of shares you would if you were to buy it today.
You know,
looking to increase the float and bring more investor awareness to the company. So we feel this is the best thing to do.
Okay, awesome. Before we wrap up, do you guys have any closing statements before we close out? We're super appreciative you guys came on. Super excited about the podcast, the app, and, you know, your guys' partnership. And we're gonna look into this ticker and track you guys. So we're super excited.
We just want to say thank you for having us on, and we appreciate it. And Rashad and I are just, both of us are blessed to be in a position to do great things and create something really special and have a company that does amazing for us in the near term.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you so much, Sugar. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate you. And hopefully we can keep in touch. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on our first live stream with the OTC Club, partnered with Traderverse.
Yeah, thank you, Traderverse, for presenting this with us. And Rashad and Mike, when is your podcast before we close out?
The podcast should start within 14 days. So we're getting everything together, our studio and so forth. So we're looking to start within the first week of November.
Wow, super exciting. We were going to make sure that we tune in. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Go to sugarandsherm.com.
Okay, sugarandsherm.com.
All right, we'll see
That's right. Thanks a lot,
everybody
guys.
at our next episode. Bye.
Sherm, Rashad, appreciate you guys.
Okay, thanks,
Nice to meet
Rashad.
you